Have you ever had that strange moment where someone pops into your mind out of nowhere, and just when you're wondering why, they suddenly text or call you? It feels almost supernatural, right? But psychology shows us there are real reasons this happens. I'm going to share with you 10 powerful, research-backed explanations for why, when someone is on your mind, it often means you're on theirs too. This isn't just guesswork or mystical thinking. It's about how memory, emotions, and even hidden patterns in the brain connect us to the people we care about. And as we go through them, you might start to see your own relationships in a completely new light. Sign 1. Your energy lines up. When two people truly connect, something fascinating happens. Their bodies and minds start moving in sync without them even noticing. Psychologists call this interpersonal synchrony. It's when your steps match while walking, your laughter flows at the same rhythm, or even your breathing subtly lines up during a conversation. Research shows that when this kind of rhythm happens, the brain marks the other person as more important. That's why they pop into your thoughts so easily, and at the same time, you often pop into theirs. It's almost like your energy is tuned to the same frequency. Think about it. Ever found yourself humming a tune right when someone else you're close to is humming it too? That's not magic, that's synchrony. And when it happens, the bond feels natural, effortless, and unforgettable. Sign 2. You pick up each other's feelings. Have you ever noticed how you start smiling when someone you care about smiles, almost before you realize it? That's emotional mimicry at work. Our brains are wired with what scientists call mirror systems. These systems make us copy the expressions, gestures, and even the moods of people who matter to us. This silent exchange is powerful. When you're thinking of them, it's often because their emotions have already left an imprint on you. And the same happens in reverse. Your expressions and feelings stay with them, resurfacing later when you're not even around. It's why a simple laugh you shared can echo in both of your minds hours later. The bond isn't just in what you said, it's in the feelings you pass back and forth, almost like an invisible emotional handshake. Sign 3. You share tastes and values. One of the strongest triggers for thinking about someone is similarity. Psychology research shows that we're naturally drawn to people who share our tastes, values, and even little quirks. When someone feels familiar, the brain stores them as important, which makes them come to mind more often. Think about it. If you both love the same song, a single note can bring their face rushing back into your thoughts. And chances are, when they hear it, you cross their mind too. It's not just about hobbies or music. Shared values like kindness, ambition, or humor create a deeper mental link. That's why certain people feel unforgettable. They aren't just like you on the surface. They reflect parts of who you are inside. And that mirror effect keeps both of you alive in each other's thoughts long after the moment has passed. Sign 4. Attachment style fuels replaying their face. Sometimes the reason someone keeps appearing in your mind has less to do with them and more to do with you. Psychology shows us that our attachment style, the way we bond with others, shapes how much mental space they take up. For people with an anxious attachment style, the brain tends to replay moments over and over, almost like it's searching for hidden meaning. That text they sent, that look they gave, that unfinished conversation, it loops in your thoughts long after it's over. And often, while you're stuck in that cycle, they're thinking of you too, wondering what you meant. It's not just obsession. It's the brain's way of holding on tightly to connection. But here's the key. When you notice someone's face replaying in your mind like a movie scene, ask yourself, is it because of love or is it because of anxiety? Understanding that difference can change how you read the signal. Sign 5. Familiarity wins. Here's something fascinating. The more we see someone, the more likely they are to show up in our thoughts. Psychologists call this the mere exposure effect. Just being around someone, hearing their voice, or even passing by their favorite spot makes the brain quietly mark them as significant. That's why you can't stop thinking about the coworker you see every morning at the coffee machine, or the friend whose name keeps popping up in your notifications. Familiarity builds mental presence. And here's the twist. If they're seeing you just as often, chances are you're also running through their mind. It's not always romance. Sometimes it's just the brain's way of saying, this person matters, pay attention. But often that simple repetition lays the foundation for deeper feelings on both sides. Sign 6. Old good times resurface. Have you ever had a song, a smell, or even a place suddenly bring someone back into your mind? That's nostalgia at work. Psychology shows us that memory is deeply tied to emotions. And when we relive positive moments, the people who shared them with us come rushing back too. Maybe it's that song you both sang in the car, or the cafe where you once laughed for hours. These sensory triggers light up old memories, and with them, the faces connected to those moments. And often they feel it too, because those experiences shape both of you. That's why some people never really fade from our thoughts. They're woven into the fabric of our happiest memories. And when nostalgia strikes, it's like a quiet reminder that connection doesn't end just because time has passed. Sign 7. Unfinished business keeps them active. One of the biggest reasons someone stays on your mind is unfinished business. Our brains hate loose ends. When a conversation ends without closure, or when feelings are left unsaid, the mind keeps circling back, trying to complete the story. Maybe you argued and never really made peace, or maybe you both felt something, but no one had the courage to admit it. Those open loops keep them alive in your thoughts, and often you in theirs, because unresolved emotions don't just disappear, they linger, waiting for resolution. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect, the tendency to remember incomplete experiences more vividly than finished ones. That's why the people we have unfinished stories with often haunt us the longest. Until there's closure, the mind just won't let go. Sign 8. They need something, or you need them. Sometimes someone is on your mind because there's an unspoken need between you. Psychology shows that our brains give extra attention to people who can either help us or who we feel responsible for. It's a survival instinct. We focus on the people whose presence matters to our well-being. Think about it. Maybe they're going through stress, and part of you senses it. Or maybe you need comfort, guidance, or just their familiar voice, and so your thoughts keep pulling them closer. In many cases, this need is mutual. When they think of you, it's often because deep down, they feel that same invisible pull. It doesn't always mean romance. Sometimes it's care, support, or reassurance. But the fact remains, when a person fills a need in your life, they won't just slip quietly out of your mind, and you won't slip quietly out of theirs either. Sign 9. Coincidence, confirmation bias, and the "it's on my mind" they call trap. Have you ever thought of someone and then, out of nowhere, they call or text? It feels like magic, right? But psychology tells us there's a mix of coincidence and confirmation bias at play. Confirmation bias is the brain's tendency to notice events that support what we already believe, like the idea that they were thinking of me too. So when someone reaches out after you've been thinking of them, your mind instantly tags it as proof. But every other time, when you thought of them and nothing happened, you probably didn't notice. Your brain just ignored it. Still, these moments feel powerful because they hit our emotions hard. They make us believe in synchronicity, in that invisible mental connection. And here's the beauty of it. Even if it's partly coincidence, your brain experiences it as a meaningful connection. That's why these little coincidences can make someone seem like they're on your mind and thinking of you at the same time. Sign 10. You're primed to reconnect. Finally, sometimes someone is on your mind because the universe, or rather your brains, are quietly aligning for a reconnection. Research in psychology shows that our intentions often shape our actions, even before we consciously act. If both of you are thinking about each other, subconsciously, your minds are preparing for contact. Maybe it's a text you'll send, a call, or an unexpected meeting. Even the tiniest intention can set the stage for action. And when both sides are in sync, reconnection feels almost inevitable. It's not magic. It's the subtle way our brains and emotions orchestrate patterns that bring people back together. So if someone keeps appearing in your thoughts, it could be the signal that your minds are quietly primed to meet again. The timing might surprise you, but the emotional pull is real, and it often leads to meaningful contact. So now you see it. The reasons someone appears on your mind aren't random. From energy that matches yours to shared values to the pull of old memories, each thought carries meaning. Sometimes it's nostalgia, unfinished stories, or subtle needs that connect you. Sometimes it's coincidence, sometimes intention, and sometimes it's destiny quietly nudging you toward each other. The human mind is wired to notice patterns, to feel emotional currents, and to sense connections that aren't always visible. And when someone keeps appearing in your thoughts, it's your brain, and perhaps even fate, reminding you. There's more to this connection than meets the eye. Whether it's about understanding yourself, your feelings, or the other person, these moments are opportunities. Opportunities to reflect, to reach out, or to simply honor the bond that exists. So pay attention to these signs, because your mind knows what your heart is quietly searching for. And sometimes the thought of someone is not just a thought, it's a message waiting to be understood.